Welcome in, everybody, to episode 7 of Destination Dynasty. I'm your host, Matt Heckman, joined by Martin Sokolsky. And welcome back to the podcast, Jacob. How are you guys doing tonight?
Peachy. Just peachy, Matt. Martin, what about you? You doing better than me, right?
I just sat through a 2-hour-long 8U softball game. So no, Jacob, I'm not doing better than you.
Listen, they all got to start somewhere. That's how we appreciate when they get to the higher levels, right?
It's like watching a Rockies inter-squad scrimmage.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, it can't be that bad.
Oh,
It
say
cannot
that.
be that bad.
It's bad.
That's when you just have like a little something in your Gatorade or something to help you get through the 8U softball game.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, this is episode 7 of Destination Dynasty. I can't believe it's been 7 episodes already. I feel like we just started doing this, but we are humming along. We're all the way midway through June, 1 month away from the All-Star game now. Season is flying. Martin, what's been the biggest revelation for you from your Dynasty teams? What's been one surprise, I guess? One surprise from your Dynasty teams that you weren't expecting?
I think it's got to be Jordan Walker. And I couldn't give the guy away in the offseason. Like I couldn't get a 4th-round pick for him in an FYPD. I couldn't have traded him into his family. And now I've got people just throwing boatloads of prospects and picks at me trying to get him. And it's like, nope, you missed out. And then you think about the fact that he's still 23 and you're like, why was I giving up on him so quick? But here we are. He's been a star. So I think the emergence of Jordan Walker has been outstanding. And then just the continued frustration with Roman Anthony's injury. That's just obnoxious. The Red Sox in general are obnoxious. I hate you guys.
Jacob, what about you? What's been the biggest surprise so far for you?
Not to the same level that Martin was talking about with Jordan Walker, but like Adley Rutschman, I couldn't really get a whole lot of value for him on the trade market. So like last offseason, I felt like I was stuck with him. And now he has been like a reliable catcher in my dynasty squad. A big bounce back season from what we saw last year. And just, I don't know if this is one of those seasons that we're not talking about enough from Rutschman, but he's been a good surprise for me. What about you, Matt?
I think Brandon Marsh so far, whether it's sustainable or not, but I mean, I was able to buy low on him in a couple of leagues, really just kind of, I don't want to say waiver wire, but a couple of hot new leagues got him for like $1 here and there. And
Nice.
he's been great. He's been a savior for the Phillies in general, being able to add some depth to that lineup when got players like Trey Turner are struggling. But just the production I'm getting from him, he's not just hitting for average. Like the average has always been surprisingly pretty decent for the strikeout rate he's run because of that high BABIP. He's amongst like the all-time leaders in BABIP in MLB history or some crazy stat. I've seen it flashed up a few different times. It's insane. It's like the greats and Brandon Marsh. And it's like, okay. And now he's hitting for power too. So that's been a really, really fun surprise. All right, we're going to start off this.
I was gonna say I took a lot of heat in one of the discords because I said he was basically. I mean, coming into the season, I said he's a platoon bat. I mean, like he's a guy that you're only going to play against right-handed pitching, and I wasn't wrong. He just blossomed into a star, and it's great for him. But I took a lot of heat for it. Like I didn't know what I was talking about. The guy was literally a platoon bat until the season. So.
He started the year platoon. I think their plan was to platoon him with Otto Kemp, and which was stupid to begin with. But Otto Kemp was so bad that they were like, maybe we should like let Brandon Marsh hit, and it's working out. It's working out pretty well.
Yeah, that it is.
So we're gonna start the episode. We're getting into some latest news. We're recording this on Tuesday, June 16th. This will come out next Sunday, so a little bit of time between now and then. It's been a couple weeks since we've recorded. But Cooper Pratt was promoted to the major leagues. He's hitting 8th in his major league debut, playing shortstop. He signed that big contract in the offseason, and then he's never really produced the numbers that you expected in the minor leagues, but he's always ranked really highly on prospect lists, both real life and dynasty. He's got a lot of tools. So Pratt made his way to the major leagues. I assume he's going to play every day. Martin, do you think he's somebody that dynasty managers should be jumping in on to grab, or is it more of a wait and see? Or I guess it's keeper league, dynasty leagues, he's going to be owned. But what should expectations be in 2026?
Yeah, I think you should temper your expectations at least in 26 and maybe even 27. I really don't think he's got. We talk about guys like Matt Shaw. He kind of reminds me of Matt Shaw in the sense of the sum of his parts are better than any of the individual tools. Like nothing really stands out. Like he's got a good hit tool. He runs well. He's a really good real life player because he's a good defensive player, but the power is probably going to be kind of middling. He should be a contributor in most categories because of the lineup and just the overall skill set. But I don't know that you'll be able to, if you're in like a 15-team league, he's probably going to be one of those guys that's a fringe starting shortstop, more of a middle infield type, as currently constructed.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. The year of the Hammate bone has continued, and Jose Ramirez and Vinny Pasquantino are both out now. Ramirez was still providing a lot of value in stolen bases, home runs, counting stat production, even if the average wasn't great. Vinny Pasquantino was really struggling. Jacob, how are you valuing Pasquantino moving forward? He had the big World Baseball Classic, really struggled this year. Now you have the Hammate bone injury. Is this maybe a good opportunity for him to reset and rebalance?
I hope so. Like he was rounding out into form over the past month. He was really Vinny Pasquantino has been a slow starter across his MLB career thus far. When he's had that opportunity, he was really rounding into form heading into June, and this just absolutely sapped all of that. And now it's okay. Are we going to see the lower hard hit Vinny Pasquantino when he returns in 2027 as he's recovering from that? The reality is, like, I think this has to drop him out of the top 10 dynasty conversation. That might have happened with or without the Hammate injury because he was really sliding at the plate, and he doesn't bring value on the bases, right? He's not going to swipe 20 bags for you at first base. You'd be lucky to get 5. All right, but Vinny Pasquantino right now, I'm not touching him right now. I love the Royals. I'm not trading for him. I'm not grabbing him in a package or nothing like that right now.
No, I agree. I think he's down to 15th in my dynasty rankings. He could be a little bit lower depending on this injury, how he recovers from that. Surprising news a little bit based on the performance. I think a player a lot of dynasty managers and prospect guys were really high on was Ryan Waldschmidt of the Diamondbacks. He was demoted back to AAA. He really struggled with his first cup of coffee at the major league level. In particular, he struggled on breaking balls. That the team was vocal that they sent him down and want him to work on hitting and handling spin. 56% whiff rate on breaking balls this year in the major leagues. Martin, is this a guy dynasty managers should be resetting their expectations for, or is this a buy low opportunity based on one little sample?
If you can buy low, I'd buy low. I'm a big Waldschmidt guy. I've always been a big Waldschmidt guy. I think that the tools are there. I think I heard an interview with him on Baseball America, and just listening to his process and listening to the way he approaches things, everything he's done throughout his entire career has been a challenge for him. He started as a catcher. He was told he wasn't going to be able to catch because he got hurt. So then he moved to the outfield. He became a good outfielder. He was told he wasn't going to hit for power. He started hitting for power. Like, this kid has done everything that he's been asked to do, and he's overcome so many different injuries throughout his career and all those different things. I think he's just a really good baseball player, and I think he's going to be just fine. I'm a little disappointed with the first go round because I thought once he was up, he would stick. But at the same time, they've got a roster crunch there. They've got some guys that they owe a lot of money to, like Lourdes Gurriel. And it makes sense they would send him down, work on a couple things. And when he comes back up, he's going to be a star. So if you can buy low on Waldschmidt, I'm going to do it because I really like the player. I believe in the player. And I think he'll be just fine when he comes back.
I agree.
What do you
with that.
think?
Yeah. No, I fully agree with that. You know, there were things to like from his time with the Diamondbacks. You know, I look at his chase rate, right? Like that was something that translated 1-to-1 nearly from AAA to the major leagues. And that gave me a lot of confidence in him. And he's, to his credit, he's had troubles against breaking balls in AAA, right? Like I'm looking at his, sweeper versus slider. And like they are vastly worse than his performance against four seamers and sinkers. So this has been an issue, but now the Diamondbacks brought him up, saw how egregious the issue was, and I like that they're being open about sending him back down with a plan, right? They're not just saying like, oh, he needs to reset and he needs to get his bearings back together, yada yada yada, something like that. He is in his age 23 season. All right, I think that this is a specific enough thing that he can address. And like Martin said, the work ethic tool has been proven time and time again when it comes to Waldschmidt. So I'm not too worried, and I agree with I think this is more of a buy low opportunity.
I'm in agreement with both of you. I mean, looking at the games played, 14 games at low A, 68 at high A, 66 at double A, 34 at triple A. Like, they pushed him quickly. I mean, he was up to the challenge at every level of the minor leagues, but they pushed him quickly and aggressively. And sometimes progression's not always linear. I mean, Martin, you talked about Jordan Walker at the start. He was supposed to be an all-star prospect, and then he really struggled, and it took some time. I don't think we're going to deal with struggles for that long from Waldschmidt, but maybe he just needs a chance.
Yeah. And if you look at it, he still hit 260 with 5 steals in the majors in a short sample. Like, I can take 260. Him running that much was a nice surprise. So once that power comes, if he's going to run a little bit too and hit for a good average, I'm perfectly fine. Buy low, buy low, buy low.
Yeah, I agree. Switching gears a little bit now, we're going to get into the meat of our podcast here. A couple episodes ago, we covered first base and we discussed the latest changes to rankings at first base. Last episode, Martin and I broke down middle infield and we looked at second base and shortstop, how dynasty managers should be changing their valuation or what some of our opinions are for the dynasty outlook on some of the players and prospects at that position. Today, we're going to head over to third base. An interesting group of guys, right? Led by Jose Ramirez, who he's been the all-star. He's been really the only one who's consistently, even this year, been really, really good. And now he's hurt. Junior Caminero is up. He seems to be the heir replacement to Jose Ramirez at the position. But after that, it really is uncertain. There is a lot of uncertainty at the position with how to value players, which players dynasty managers can count on. So first, let's look at some of the risers in the major leagues so far this year. Miguel Vargas has been a revelation for the White Sox. The White Sox themselves have been a surprise. Vargas is slashing 247, 370, 490, 16 homers, 10 stolen bases. Really, when you look at his baseball savant, everything is red. Like, he looks like the prospect people wanted him to be years ago. Another example of progression is not always linear. When he's coming up with the Dodgers, he was ranked highly, and then he struggled a little bit after the trade, struggled to find his footing. And now he's really cemented himself as the White Sox third baseman of the future. Martin, what do you think about Miguel Vargas? Are you buying this breakout from him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't. I don't think anything under the hood looks like it really. I mean, it really doesn't look anything different than what it was when he was coming up. He's had a couple of improvements. Obviously, his always made a pretty good amount of contact, which is good. He's definitely cut down his chase quite a bit since he's gone to the White Sox. And if you look at last year's kind of the start of the breakout, you look at the quality of contact, it really started to jump. He gained 3 miles an hour in average exit velocity. He had a 14% increase in hard hit rate. He doubled his barrel rate. And then this season, if you look even deeper into it, his bat speed is off the charts. He's up 3.5 miles an hour in his bat speed. So if you consider the fact that the bat speed is fast while still making the amount of contact and the quality of contact, it's not a surprise that he's having a breakout at this point. And also he's running. And he's got 10 steals, and that's more than he's already had at any point in his career. And there's still more to come. So I'm all in on Vargas. I think he's a really good player. I've always liked him. He kind of got that Dodger prospect treatment for a while, and then he fell out of favor because he was doing he had some mental errors and wasn't playing great defensively. So I think Vargas is a good player. The White Sox team is very, very fun to watch, and I like Vargas.
He is pulling the ball. That is what is going on. That is what is really fueling this 2026 breakout. I'm looking at his pull air rate, which is something that every dynasty manager should be keeping a pulse on when you're looking at how a batter is doing. 24.6% pull air rate from Vargas thus far in 2026. That is an exceptional mark. And the encouraging thing is it's not an outlier. He's at least 23% over the past 2 seasons. He's just getting better results in 2026. Now, I'll be the first one to admit my ranking of him is lagging behind his current production. Excuse me. I don't know what it is. My gut's just saying I'm a little skeptical of this, but I can't point to anything and say, yeah, I'm skeptical because of this. Right? I think this is just me looking at the uniform he's wearing rather than who is actually carrying the stick. But yeah, good on Miguel Vargas. in his age 26 season. Don't forget about that. He's still got a few playing years ahead of him.
Yeah, similarly to Miguel Vargas, right? I think third base, maybe it's something about playing third base where it's tough to come up as a prospect. Maybe it's defensively. I don't know what it is, but Josh Jung is in a similar position, third baseman for the Texas Rangers. Very high prospect pedigree. Dynasty managers have been really disappointed who were counting on him for years. By this point, if you rostered him when he made his major league debut back in 2022, you probably don't still roster him on your dynasty team in 2026. He looks healthy this year. He's dealt with foot injuries, hand injuries, shoulder injuries in the past several years. This year, he's hitting 302, 361, 457 with 8 home runs. The hit tool really, I think, as a prospect when he was coming up, he has a safe base. Like, we're not sure how the game power is really going to translate. He's got power, but the base, like the hit tool is strong. And then the hit tool really struggled early on when he was trying to find his footing. The hit tool looks back. The chase and whiff rates are back. Josh Jung is moving back up dynasty rankings and is becoming a player that dynasty managers can really count on. Jacob, are you counting on Josh Jung, or is he another player you're struggling to buy in on?
I'm counting on him as a C tier third baseman, and like that's what I'm counting on him on, right? Like, even before this, not on my radar at all because you couldn't trust him in the slightest. But I'm looking at his production this year, and it's impossible to ignore. And the health is such a key aspect of that, like you were talking about, Matt. Like, it's a continuity thing. Like, these players can finally get in a rhythm and finally trust their body to do what their mind is telling it to do. The one thing that in the numbers that is really sticking out to me, holy smokes, the league knows that he struggles against sinkers. They are pitching him sinkers the most this season, and he still has an atrocious run value against sinkers in 2026. That is, I would say that's not new, but it kind of is new. At least he was average in previous seasons. But a -7 run value so far in 2026 on the pitch you are thrown the most is not a great start, especially as more and more pitchers are varying up their fastballs. I I lost his numbers for what he's doing on the base paths, but he is. I know coming up, like, there was an aspect that he might be active on the bases.
1 for 2.
1 for 2. Yeah, he's just not. It's not active right now. That's okay, but that his bat is shining bright enough right now to where he can bring value to your dynasty team, at least in the short term.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The first and foremost, he's healthy, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing. Health is always an indicator, and we're going to talk about a guy in a minute who has had his own health issues. But yeah, for Jung, I mean, Matt's right. The bat to ball skills have really improved this year. He's up 7% on in zone contact, 6% overall. Like, that's always a good sign. He's chasing less and he's walking more. I'm still not buying that there's going to be more than 15 homers power. I don't think that that's really there. For whatever reason, it just hasn't translated. He doesn't really pull the ball very much in the air, which is probably part of that. We just talked about that with Vargas, but I remember listening to Breakfast with the Beats, which is a pitcherless podcast, shameless plug for our guys, Mike Carter and Dave Funnel over there on Saturday mornings. And they were talking about an article that they had about a tech for the Texas beat writer. I think it was Evan Grant, maybe, about Jung and how he just wanted to simplify his process. And he was always tinkering. And finally he just said, I'm just going to do what I do, and I'm just going to hit the ball. And that's where he's at this point. So I've still got him as a top 15 guy at the position. I don't believe that the power is going to be anything more than mid-tier, but if the hit tool stays, I'm okay with a 15 homer bat that hits 280, even though we're going to talk about Alec Bohm, and he's kind of the same way. But anyways.
Yeah, perfect segue right there. It's 2 third basemen whose dynasty value is kind of taking a hit here. Austin Riley and Alec Bohm are the 2 players that I highlighted. Alec Bohm is interesting because part of this is my Phillies bias, but I'm like, he hasn't been that bad this year. It started really, really bad. He was terrible, but since April 28th, he's slashing 268, 311, 456, and is on pace for 26 home runs. He's on pace for 26 home runs before he hit another home run tonight. He hit one 450 feet tonight. The power production has never really made sense for a guy who looks like he should have plenty of power. His approach, I mean, it's the approach. He prioritizes contact, driving the ball into the gaps versus trying to drive the ball to his pull side out of the park. But Alec Bohm, I feel like a lot of people are very down on because they look at the surface stats and it's another disappointing season. He's failed to live up to the prospect pedigree. Phillies fans are ready for Aiden Miller, who they're not going to probably see this season. And so it just seems like Alec Bohm's dynasty value is going down when he's actually been really productive as of late and he's still batting in the middle of the lineup, right behind Harper some nights or right behind Marsh other nights, depending on the lineup construction. So am I wrong to have a little bit of optimism for Bohm, or is that warranted?
I think
I
there's a
think
silver
it's
lining you
yeah, go
can
ahead.
see. Sorry about that, Martin. I think there's a silver lining you can see, but like this is overall, I just don't trust Bohm right now. Like he hasn't been a guy that I feel like I could rely on in Dynasty for a while. Like even I go back to 2024. His entire season numbers were very good, right? But he was so streaky. He was either red hot or ice cold. 2025 took a step backwards. 2026, like I still don't believe in his current stretch right now. It's he's 29 years old. This isn't we're not talking about like a guy just getting used to the show or anything like that. Sure, context does matter, and he does have guys in front of him who get on base, who he can, move over at least, if not drive them in. But he does not pull the ball like at all. He sprays the ball all over the field, and that just really limits his extra base potential, hence the potential for RBI and home runs. So that's where I sit with Bohm. I'm not really touching him. He's serviceable right now, but I'm not looking to him. Martin.
Yeah, I mean, he's never necessarily been great per se. Like he's been serviceable, I think is the word. And for me, they talk about we talk about accumulators and guys who just accumulate stats just because they are in the situation they do or they have an outlier trait. His outlier trait's always been his plate skills and his ability to hit for an average. And because he's in that lineup and because he gets on base at a high clip, he's gonna produce runs, he's gonna produce RBIs. And so he's always been a mid-tier guy. He's never going to be elite. That's just not who he is. But if you can accept the fact that you're going to get a 270 average with 12 to, anywhere between 12 and 20 home runs and, 150 to 200 combined runs in RBI, I think you'll take that from a third baseman, especially given the depth issues at the position and the inconsistency of the position. I think Bohm is just a consistent guy, but he's never going to be consistently great. And if that's your expectation of Bohm, then he's probably not the guy for you.
Yeah, no, I think those are fair points. I think the one thing that could be concerning for his dynasty value is just what happens to Bohm after 2026, right? He's a free agent. I feel like the Phillies are probably going to move on. That would be my guess, unless they get more concerning news from Aiden Miller on that front. I would guess Alec Bohm is playing somewhere else. So is he going to be able to accumulate those counting stats?
Yeah.
That's something to watch for.
And I'll give Bohm a pass too, because if you look at considering the fact that he's had a rough year and he's starting to pick it up, if you read the story about what's going on off the field with him,
Oh yeah,
it's highly impressive that he's even producing at all. So
That's true.
kudos to Alec Bohm for even showing up on a day-to-day basis, because everything's just crazy around him. And I'm glad that he's got a little normalcy now, that everything is kind of out in public, because now he can just focus on what he does. And now he's entering free agency, and let's just let the kid play and see what happens. So
yeah. I think. I mean, if he somehow reaches 25 homers this season, that completely transforms his fantasy value and production.
And he'll get paid too. He'll get paid.
Yeah, he will. Thin position. I mean, that's why we're talking about some of these guys. Very thin position. Austin Riley's another guy I feel like dynasty managers don't know what to do with at this point. Expectations were so high. It looked like he was going to be a cornerstone of the position for dynasty managers for years to come. Some injuries kind of derailed that. And now the old hit tool concerns are back from when he was first breaking into the major leagues. He still ranks in the top 10 of the position, but it's a thin position. And it just feels like his dynasty value has dropped so far from where it was 2.5 years ago. Martin, what are you doing with us? Like, are you selling low? Because that's what it is at this point. Are you selling low? Are you stuck holding him? What's your recommendation to dynasty managers at this point?
And Carlos Mendoza get ejected from the game, so that's
I'm
exciting.
watching that too.
So with Riley, I don't know what's wrong with the guy. I mean, I know that injuries have been a big problem for him. I think that obviously that takes a toll on you, but he's still fairly young, right? I think he's 28, 29.
29.
But when you look, like the contact skills they're actually similar. If you look at the rates, they're not much different from the last time that he was technically good, which was 2023. But a couple things stood out to me. One, his zone swing rate is swing weight. See, you got me going there, Matt.
Yeah, swing weight.
Yeah, his swing weight. My swing weight is very, very high. His zone swing rate is down 7%. His first pitch swing rate is down 3%, and his heart swing rate is down 6%. So it's like the batted ball stuff isn't horribly off. The contact skills are kind of still there. He's got elite swing speed still, but he's like not swinging anything where he needs to swing it at. He's chasing everything, and it's like I don't know why he's doing it. I don't know if he's pressing because he's been out for so long and he's trying to perform on that team when he doesn't need to. He just needs to fit in and be a guy. But it's hard with Riley because I've still got him number 6, the position. I think he's a good player at some point still, but it's kind of odd for me because I used to compare Riley and Rafael Devers together because they had like the same stat line for like 3 years in a row. And now we're at the point where they both kind of stink. And it's just weird how that all works. But I still think he's going to figure it out as long as he can be healthy. I just don't know when it's going to come. So I'm, I guess, holding out hope that he becomes Austin Riley again.
Yeah, I think I don't think you could really move him for anything that I would feel is fair right now, right? Because like I'm not going to pay for this current version of Austin Riley. And this is me just spitballing here, just kind of throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. I think back to the Max Muncy change after he started wearing glasses. You all remember that? Like that was a major thing. That was a minor change, but really fueled him coming back around. With his, I don't know if he's picking up pitches as well as he usually does. So I'm wondering if there is something, with his eyesight or just with his timing, like that is causing him to overthink individual pitches and thus just not making that good contact. Like he's still, we know that bat speed usually translates to better batting production. There's a correlation between the two. Causation between the two, that's still up for debate. We're still in the early days of this whole bat tracking. So we'll see what happens there. I'm holding on Austin Riley right now. I still believe in the upside. He is signed until like through 2032. I think it is. I think he's a good like trade guy for this offseason. I would absolutely be looking at him to be moved teams, and I just believe in the upside, guys. I really do.
There's also a chance he's still hurt. I mean,
that's true. That's true.
He had the core injury last year, and I mean, there's no guarantee that these surgeries work out every time. I mean, there's a chance that he's still beat up and he's still having issues in that core and having trouble turning on the ball and things like that. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that he's still hurt or that he's just never going to be the same guy again, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Still 29, still a lot of time, still on a good team at the very least in a thin position. He's going to play, he's going to bat in the middle of that lineup. So there are worse players that you could target, but I feel like it's going to be difficult to find a trade partner, whether you're trying to acquire him or you're trying to sell him, because I think the value is just going to be probably too different. All right, we're going to jump into the same exercise we did last episode. I think it was a lot of fun. Martin and I compared our second base and shortstop rankings. Now we have 3 sets of dynasty rankings to go over for the position at third base. So Martin, I'm going to turn it over to you to share your top 20 dynasty third basemen.
All right, we're going for the full gusto here, huh? All right, so
Yeah,
let's go. Let's go. Junior Caminero, Jose Ramirez, Manny Machado, Miguel Garcia, Sebastian Walcott, Austin Riley, Alex Bregman, Matt's favorite player, Caleb Bonemer, Isaac Paredes, Miguel Vargas, Big Oak, Kazuna Okamoto, Matt Shaw, Bo Bichette, Josh Jung, Eugenio Suarez, Matt Chapman, Jordan Westberg, Colt Keith, Brendan Donovan, and Ernie Clement.
All right, nice list. Jacob, turn it over to you. What do you got?
All right, so I got Junior Caminero, Jose Ramirez, Manny Machado, Austin Riley, Miguel Garcia, Alex Bregman, Big Oak, Sebastian Walcott, Isaac Paredes, Max Muncy, Matt Chapman, Miguel Vargas, Bo Bichette, Royce Lewis, Matt Shaw, Pedro Ramirez, Caleb Bonemer, Jordan Westberg, Josh Jung, Andrew Fisher, and that's my top 20. I was about to go down. I was about to keep going. Matt, who you got, man?
Yeah, I mean, our top two are the same for all of our lists. Junior Caminero, Jose Ramirez. I feel like that's pretty easy. You guys both have Manny Machado at third. I go Miguel Vargas at third. I mean, we talked about him a little bit. We'll talk about him a little bit more as the episode moves along. I'm clearly very in on Miguel Vargas. I have Michael Garcia fourth. Manny Machado slides in at five for me. Austin Riley six. Okamoto comes in at 7, Sebastian Walcott 8, Alex Bregman 9, Bo Bichette 10, Jordan Westberg 11, please come back healthy, Josh Jung 12, Brendan Donovan 13, Max Muncy 14, Royce Lewis comes in at 15, Eugenio Suarez at 16, Isaac Paredes 17, Matt Chapman 18, Alec Bohm, he's consistent, I'm putting him at 19, and my prospect, the only prospect to make my list, Lou James Groover. Good old Gino Groover. I like him. A lot of differing opinions. Been a lot of debates on Groover between me and Huth on one side, and it seems the rest of the Dynasty community on another side. But I'm in on in the Pitcher List Discord there. But I'm in on Groover. Martin, what stands out to you when you look at these lists? What's your first initial reaction there?
So like I said, I came from AU softball, so I didn't get to see you guys' rankings because they came in a little bit later, and I didn't see him. So I guess my first one is Max Muncy. I understand that he's back and he's productive and he's in a good lineup, but he's also 35. So I've got him down just based on his age alone because you just don't know how much time he's got left. Groover we talked about off air, but I don't believe that. I think the floor is probably safe, but I don't think there's a lot of power there. So he's a guy that I've got substantially lower. I noticed you guys both have, I think you, Matt, have Royce Lewis in your top 20 as well. Is that correct?
Yep, I have him at 16. I think that's a perfect segue. Royce Lewis. We can stop. We can have a whole episode about what dynasty managers should be doing with Royce Lewis. Yeah, I have him at 16. Jacob has him at 14. He's not currently ranked in Martin's top 20.
Yeah, he's 21 for me.
Yeah, just missed. I feel like dynasty managers, if you play in Otanu leagues or even shallower dynasty leagues, like he was dropped in a lot of places. Like the struggles were bad. He couldn't stay healthy, sent to AAA, dropped in all the Otanu leagues. And now everybody's scrambling to pick Royce Lewis back up. I mean, flashback to this time last year, Royce Lewis was considered a lock top 10 at the position. Easy. He was going to be one of the future stars. Roller coaster of dynasty value on him, hitting 344, 3 homers, a stolen base, only a 13% strikeout rate since returning. Jacob, you have him ranked the highest up at 14. What's leading to that ranking there?
I think this is one of those things, like the talent is undeniable. The part that you can't teach is just absolutely there. It oozes out of Royce Lewis, and like that is what dynasty managers have latched onto for so long. And, I think the best case scenario that we can look at here is a similar career storyline to Byron Buxton, right? Like the injuries plagued him for so long, sapped him of his early career. And then he came out and like now he's a regular. Now he's a guy who is absolutely reliable in the outfield picture for dynasty managers. And I think Royce Lewis can turn into that. Will he? I don't know, but this return back to the majors has been absolutely stellar. And here's the thing that I like. So you look at his weighted runs created plus, small sample size, 37 plate appearances, but 193 weighted runs created plus. The thing that I like about that the most, it is consistent. We're not seeing a bunch of negative 100s. He's not a black hole just one night and then a bright shining star the next. He is consistently doing something right now for the Twins. And as the Twins are exceeding expectations in the AL Central, I think that Royce Lewis can still turn this season around and in turn his overall dynasty value.
So with Lewis, I actually had the pleasure of seeing Royce last week in person. I got to go to the Tigers and Twins game Wednesday night in Detroit. And the first thing that I noticed about Royce is he's playing with an enthusiasm again and an energy again and positive vibes. He's smiling and he's laughing. And I'm just kind of wondering if just the pressure just kind of ate him alive, because there was a quote that came out probably a week or two before he got demoted basically said, people want me to fail. And that was powerful because you think about, the pedigree with him, first overall pick, and all the things that have come with him. He had the big breakout, his rookie year, and then things just went kaput for him. And he just looks different. He looks re-energized. He looks like he's playing with purpose again. And unless he gets hurt, I mean, you got to think that he's at least partially back. Things look different. But at the same time, if you're a fantasy player and you're a dynasty guy, you are waiting for that next shoe to drop, right? You know that there's a potential that there's going to be an injury or that he's just going to come out and start slumping again. And I noticed, Jacob, I like the comp with Buxton in the sense of the injury piece of it. But what Buxton didn't do was Buxton didn't have prolonged periods of struggle.
That's true.
Even when he was playing, like he may not have hit for a high average, but he was hitting 25 homers and stealing bases. His issue was strictly injury related. It wasn't necessarily performance based. Lewis has struggled, and he struggled mightily, and he lost all the mojo that he had when he was a young player and he first came up. And so hopefully this is the turning point for Lewis. Hopefully this is him getting his swagger back. And I hope the same thing for Noel de Marte as well, because it's the same kind of thing. Marte kind of put himself behind the 8 ball with some of his off-field decisions and things like that. But ultimately, we're talking about 2 uber talented players who have enormous upside, but they also have rock bottom floors. And so for Lewis, I saw this energy and this exuberance with him, and he just looked like he was happy to play baseball again. And that's a huge part of it, right? Showing up every day and having that energy and carrying yourself like a pro. And I'm hoping he's back, because I personally buried him. I buried him. He was like in the 30s at the position before he came back. I'm hesitant to put him in my top 20 because
I think you just gave the pitch to move him into your top 20. I feel like
I know, but I've been bitten by him so many times. I've been bitten by him so many times. I'm just waiting for that shoe to drop. So, but so that's my Royce Lewis rant.
If you're a PLV Pro member or a Pitcher List Pro member, you get access to all the great tools there, and we have some hitter rolling charts. And looking at his Process Plus, which really combines decisions, contact, and power, combines all of the stats into one process-oriented metric, and it's a rolling chart graph. And basically, if you lower the rolling pitches face, so you can see the sample more clear when Lewis came back up versus when he was before. Everything was at rock bottom, close to 100 is average, so same as WRC plus. It was down by 75-ish when he was demoted. When he got called back up, that line just goes straight up through the graph. I mean, he looks like a completely different hitter in all facets of the game. And Martin, I think the point of ranking him high, or my point in ranking him high, actually I have him ranked 15th, not 16th. And I'm looking at who's ahead of him. I mean, you mentioned Jacob and I are a little higher on Max Muncy. Right now, if I could trade Max Muncy for Royce Lewis, I would do it if I was a dynasty team. Unless even if I'm competing now, I'm taking the shot just because the position is so thin. Bo Bichette, Jordan Westberg, Josh Jung, Brendan Donovan, like you can make a case if I need to win now and these players are contributing on my team, like especially a Max Muncy, like I don't know if I want to trade him, but I would trade all of those. Like 15 might be too low. I trade all those guys just to take the shot on Royce Lewis being a 30 homer bat, because none of these other guys really have that upside. They're all fine players, but they're nothing that I can't replace with Alec Bohm, who nobody wants on their team anyway. I think that's where I'm at with Royce Lewis. I get the hesitancy to rank him. I only ranked him 15th. Jacob only ranked him 16th. You're 21. That's not really that far off in the grand scheme of things, but just that upside is tantalizing. And I think dynasty managers should be, if he's auctioned up in a new league, if he's available in a shallow dynasty league, you need to add him just based on the chance that he's put it all back together again, I think.
Yeah. And he won't be 21st when my rankings come out next week. I guarantee it. He'll be top. Like just looking at it, he should be ahead of probably everybody all the way up to like Okamoto at 11. Like he probably should be top 12 for me.
Right. So. I started looking at the list and I'm like, do I really want Josh Jung over the chance at Royce Lewis? I'm like, no, I don't. And I like what Josh Jung's doing. Yeah.
That's why it's such a hard thing to rank.
Yes, absolutely. Is a hard thing to rank. Ranking that we apparently disagree. I was surprised that you guys were so low on Miguel Vargas there. I have him all the way up at 3, and that's aggressive. 3 is very aggressive, but I'm buying this breakout. The speed is not, it's new at the major league level, the stolen bases, but he showed stolen bases in the minor leagues when he was in the Dodgers system. And I think now he's just comfortable. He's figured out the game. It's a baseball IQ thing. It's becoming comfortable learning pitchers' tendencies. He's running. I'm buying that. I think he's a 15 to 20 steal player. I buy the power. I think he's a 25 to 30 homer bat. You guys already brought up the bat speed there. I mean, 74-mile-an-hour bat speed is elite. Everything, Jacob, you mentioned the pull air rate, like everything looks so good. He's still young. I have him 3rd, which was aggressive. You guys have him down at 11 and 12, I believe. Jacob, you talked a little bit about the hesitancy to buy in. Martin, are you in the same boat? You're just hesitant to fully buy the breakout there?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like it's just a fluid situation with my rankings, to be honest with you. I mean, I just went through and kind of redid them at the beginning of the month, but I'm still not quite even there yet. And, like I said, my rankings will come out over at PL later in the month, and it'll be different. I know it'll be different. But yeah, I think I just haven't gotten him quite to that level yet, but he should be. He should be up inside the top 10 without a doubt. I've got him at 10, but he should be higher.
Yeah, he should probably be higher on mine as well. And I admitted that when I was talking about him. Like, I think I'm looking at the uniform he's wearing more so than the actual player himself. Like, if you would have just pulled up his Baseball Savant page, showed me that, you go over the PL Pro tools and you look at his process, you look at the power, like it's there. It's present. It's showing up, and it's showing up in the box score right now, and that's what matters most to dynasty managers. I gotta yank the wheel here real quick, Matt, because there's a guy we all had in our top 6 who I don't know if he belongs there anymore. Like, I made these rankings a few days ago, right? And I just can't bring myself to pull Manny Machado down. But should we be pulling Manny Machado down? Like, is the production's there? The Washington Post had a great article come out about how the aging curve is getting steeper after age 35. And Manny Machado is right there. And he's not really showing a lot of signs of life right now at the plate for the Padres. Like, is this the time? Like, should you be selling on Manny Machado right now? I absolutely think so.
You think nothing looks different in the profile, though? Like, I can't point to one thing and say this is an issue. The bat speed hasn't fallen off. The zone contact rate, I don't think, at least last time, the zone contact rate hasn't fallen off. The chase rate's relatively the same. I mean, it's a little bit higher. The whiff rate is the same. The 180 BABIP, that's different. I mean, he's a career 295 BABIP guy, so the 180 BABIP is a lot different. His home run rates are still good. He's already got 12 home runs. He's got 32 runs, 35 RBIs. I don't think I'm out on Machado yet. I actually see, but this is why it's great to have this conversation, I think, because this just shows you can find opportunity in dynasty leagues to go get players you want. Or Miguel Vargas, I mean, just flashing back to him real quick. Like, Jacob, you mentioned you're looking at the uniform on him when you were doing the rankings a little bit. And I think a lot of people have that opinion on somebody like Miguel Vargas. I got him in the PL Dynasty League a couple of months, like right toward the start of his breakout. I traded Chris Schoolcraft for him, straight up, for Miguel Vargas. And that was the deal. Like, you have this opportunity, and Manny Machado, if you're somebody like Jacob, you have the opportunity to sell, because I think Manny Machado is a buy low. And so I think you can find that opportunity. I think Manny Machado is the perfect player to go get if you're in a win now, just because I trust he's going to hit in the middle of that lineup still. He's going to produce runs, RBIs, and home runs, even if the average doesn't bounce up. And he's not going to have a 180 BABIP at the end of the year. I just refuse to believe that for a player that hits the ball as hard as he does. So, Martin, break the tie for us. Manny Machado buy low, or is it time to get out on him?
No, I'm buying low on Machado. Here's the thing: we completely
2 for 1. Jacob, you lose.
Gosh dang it!
Well, I view Machado in the same light that I view Freddie Freeman. Father Time is not going to bother these guys. These guys are just elite athletes. They've always, when we talked about Jose Ramirez being the cornerstone of the position, Manny Machado's been right there with him. I mean, he doesn't run as much, but man, Machado has been so consistent for so long. And if you want to talk about the real problem with Machado, the Padres are horrible. They're so bad.
Yeah, compared to their talent.
I mean, let's talk about a team they're horrible underachievers. And then they're talking about going out and trading a guy like Leo DeVries for Mason Miller. Sure, do it. It's already done and over with. You've done it. Mason Miller's great. Don't get me wrong. But this team is atrocious. They have the worst farm system in the majors. Their stars aren't producing. Tatis has not been himself. Bogart's contract is horrific. Machado's the only guy there. That offense is awful. Dustin May hit them last night. Like Dustin May. Let's talk about this.
Dustin May's been fun lately. Dustin May's been fun lately.
Yes.
But the underlying point here is the Padres are terrible. They're terrible. Jackson Merrill has not been himself lately. Tatis has been bad. Bogarts isn't good. Cronenworth is hurt, who's not really good anyways. It's basically Gavin Sheets and Laureano, and Laureano's now hurt. So it's like this team, the team context is terrible. They play in a horrible ballpark to hit. The fact that Machado's been as good as he's been there is a testament to how great Machado is overall. And I still hate Machado for ending Dustin Pedroia's career, but Machado is one of those timeless guys. He's just going to do it. So buy low on Manny Machado. Sorry, Jacob.
Listen, hey, the only red flag on the metric side of things that really stands out, he's putting the ball on the ground a lot, a career high ground ball rate. And, he's got it.
Somebody tell the Padres to start hitting the ball in the air.
Yeah.
Yes, please, just relay that
probably
message.
Just mechanical. It's probably just mechanical. I mean, he's still hitting the ball. He's still got 12 home runs. When the dust settles on September 30th or whenever the season's over, if Manny Machado doesn't have 30 home runs or damn near 30 home runs, I will be stunned. I'll just put it that way. He's just that consistent. So
Yep. No, I feel the same. I feel the same way. And then it wouldn't be a Destination Dynasty episode if we don't talk about Caleb Bonemer a little bit.
Yes.
So this was bound to happen. If you've listened to the episode, if you stuck with us, I've been pretty vocal. If you're in the PL Dynasty Discord, I've been pretty vocal about Caleb Bonemer. I'm not in. Martin's been pretty vocal about being in. I assumed Jacob would probably land himself in the middle, and sure enough, Martin ranked him 9th. Jacob ranked him 17th, and I did not rank Caleb Bonemer inside of my top 20. Caleb Bonemer ranked 8th for Martin. Sorry, that was a typo on my part.
That is 8th, a crime. And I moved him down. Right. I moved him down out of respect for your tutelage, Mr. Heckman.
But my thing is, we talked about my issue with Bonemer even when he was red hot early in the season. And I said, it's not going to last. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. Since May 9th, he's slashing 195, 333, 398. He doesn't hit, and he's not going to hit for average. The hit tool isn't below average. It's bad. That's my concern with Bonemer. And so, he's got 25 plus home run upside. I'm buying the power. I have him as a top 100 prospect, but the hit tool is bad. And I haven't seen everything in the past month and a half has just backed up my sentiment that he was overrated 2 months ago. And so at this point, I feel like I can't change that. Why? What are you not concerned about, I guess, that you're seeing versus what I'm seeing?
The only thing with me is I think he's just still so young, and I'm seeing this massive power, and I don't think he's a 25 homer guy. I think he's a 40 home run bat when he gets at his peak. I really do. That power is 70 grade, and it's really, really good. Will he make enough contact? I don't know. Right now, we know there's two things that are a problem. One, the hit tool is very, very questionable. I can't argue with that. I don't argue with that whatsoever. The other thing is he is pulling the ball like a madman. His pull rate is obnoxious. Like, it's not healthy. It can't be healthy. This trip to Double-A is going to be really big for him, because this is the time when he's going to start facing a little bit more advanced pitching. And is he going to adjust? Is he going to start hitting the ball the other way? Is he going to stop with this extreme pull rate? Is he going to start making adjustments to the hit tool? He's still super young. He's still super raw. I'm not going to give up on the kid because I think, like we talked about previously, I comped him to Austin Riley, and we just talked about how bad Austin Riley's been. But I think it's the same concept. I think the power is very, very elite, and the hit tool is very, very questionable. But that plays in the big leagues now. Guys don't strike out 8% of the time unless they're Luis Arias. Everybody's got a 25% strikeout rate, and these guys are hitting 40, 50 home runs. I'm fine with it. I until he just completely falls off the face of the earth, which he's not. I mean, 333 on base is still nice. I'll take it. I refuse to give up on the kid this early, simply based on hit tool, because if we did that, then we would have given up on a lot of guys who've already fixed that issue. So.
I just want to jump in, and then Jacob, I'm going to turn it over to you. I don't think my messaging is not at all dynasty managers should give up on Caleb Bonemer. I don't want that to be misconstrued. Yeah, I've got him too high. I could see how people could take that. I think there's a misvaluation in where his market value is in dynasty leagues versus what his current production is. Just Miguel, I'm going to pick on the Miguel Vargas thing again and again and again this episode. I think that's just my crutch right now. Yeah. But like Miguel Vargas is in the major leagues and doing it, versus Caleb Bonemer's in the minor leagues and struggling a little bit. So I get it though. I think I am low on the power, Martin. I think you're right. I think there's more than 25 plus power there. I think it's 30 to 40 home run power there. I think I need to adjust my ceiling value a little bit there. But Jacob, you landed in the middle of both of us. What is your take on this? Are you just going to play the middleman?
No. Listen, truth be told, there's not a whole lot I could add to this discussion because, like, this is who Bonemer is right now. Everyone knows the power. You want to talk about light tower power? Like Caleb Bonemer's shown that so far in 2026 in game. Right? We've seen it time and time again. Just go look at his highlights on MILB.com. You'll find it. The strikeouts are down a little bit in that span that you're talking about, Matt, which gives me a little bit of solace. But he's got to figure it out at Double-A, right? He is producing against fastballs. That is not an issue. It is the breaking stuff that is giving him problems, and it was giving him problems in High A. Now, when you get to Double-A, where you're more likely to see former college arms or see just more polished pitching prospects overall who will go into a game with a clear game plan to attack these weak points and more likely be able to execute it. That's where we're going to see what Caleb Bonemer has. And then at that point, we're going to be at another junction. Okay, is he struggling? Can he bounce back? Yes or no? Okay, if he's succeeding, how is he succeeding? Is it with this still pull-heavy approach? And folks, y'all are, if you're listening to this, you are underestimating how much this guy is pulling the ball in 2026. 62.2%. That is absurd. That is insane. Opposite field, your travel ball coach is always talking about knocking to the opposite field to keep the line moving. This guy's hitting to the opposite field 10% of the time. All right, that doesn't matter. That does not matter.
He's got a game plan, and I think that was honestly, I think the strikeout rate's a great point. He has made some improvements to the strikeout rate recently. You struggle with that for a little bit, especially in early May, and the strikeout rate's come back down. I think it's a really good point to make there. I think the hit tool concern is the strikeout rate combined with that. The pull fly, the power, great for power. You want to pull it in the air. Pulling it in the air is great for your home run production, but when you're pulling it in the air, your batting average and BABIP are going to be low. Martin, are you concerned about the promotion to Double-A? Just the timing of it seems a little bit weird to me, unless they felt he needed a change of scenery. He had shown the power in High A. Like, are you concerned about what that could do to his mental game? If he struggled in High A, he struggles in Double-A. Baseball's a mental sport. Any concerns there?
Not really. Only because I think that these teams are strategic in what they're doing. The White Sox have become a really very talented player development organization over the last few years. I look at some of the players they've turned around and things like that. Like they've done things the right way to an extent. So no, I'm not worried about that necessarily. I think this is a step that he needs to take. I think it's where he's going to start to make those adjustments that he needs to make to get better. One thing that you touched on, I don't know what his walk rate's at right now, but his walk rate
14%,
last
I
night,
think.
yeah, it's like that's like mid-teens walk rate. So what that tells me is that he knows, he's recognizing pitches. He's got a good eye at the plate. Granted, the pitching isn't that great at high A, but it's better than it was at Class A, and it was better than it was at the Complex League and all these other places. So it's going to continue to see better pitching, and maybe he gets exposed a little bit at first. Maybe, this pull rate thing isn't just, it just needs to change a little bit, because the extreme pull rate, it's unsustainable. At some point, he's going to have to hit the ball the other way,
Yeah.
and they'll help him do that. So no, I'm not worried about the promotion. I think if anything, it's going to be a big plus for him. Will he struggle? Sure, he probably will struggle, but at some point he's going to also figure it out, and he's going to make the adjustments that he needs that'll make him a more well-rounded hitter. So yeah, I think the promotion's fine.
Yeah, plant your flag on prospects that you like. Martin's planted it
Planted.
on. Yes, Martin has firmly planted it on Caleb Bonemer. So I will reach out to him on Twitter or X every time I see Caleb Bonemer strike out and ask him how things are going. And then he'll tag me whenever he hits a home run. So that's what we'll do. Speaking of prospects here, this is a Dynasty podcast, same way we're going to end it as we have the last couple. Martin, who are some third base prospects that are catching your eye in the minor leagues?
Yeah, I'll go quick here because I know we're up against it. Luke Hill is a guy that I really like, 4th-round pick out of Ole Miss, playing with the Guardians. This kid didn't do much in college. He was mostly an average guy, an OBP guy. The power is coming in a big way in the minors. He's already been promoted to high A this month. In his first season, big frame or solid frame, 6 foot, 200 pounds, really good plate discipline, really good swing decisions. Again, some contact skill issues, but he doesn't chase at all. He's hitting the snot of the ball, 106 mile an hour, 90th percentile. The two biggest things for me is that he has cut his ground ball rate significantly since he's come into the pros, and he's pulling the ball a lot more. And those were the two knocks against him, was too many ground balls and no pull in college. The other guy is Xavier Nyans, who I think is just a complete stud. This is a kid that's a first rounder last year, advanced prep bat, 6'3", 210, massive bat speed, massive raw power. He's doing some things. He's got a 9% chase rate in his first year as a pro, which is very impressive. 108.5 mile per hour, 90th. And I know that we're going to talk about Chase Harlan, so won't bury the lead on that, but his numbers are better than Harlan, who I do love Harlan for what it's worth. And when you look at Nyans, one thing to keep in mind, his 30% strikeout rate is very, very misleading. It's a 9% swinging strike rate and a 21% called strike rate. And if you look at guys like Joseph Sullivan, who's in that organization, and other guys like that they must be teaching these kids, don't swing, don't swing, don't swing, because he's got like a 30% swing rate, and it's in causing those strikeout rates to really inflate. So Nyans is a kid that I'm really, really big on. So
yeah, I'll jump in with Chase Harlan real quick. He was one of the guys that I pegged. I do have Nyans ahead of Harlan. My top 150 prospect ranks will come out. I think I had it scheduled for this week. Life happened. I think they'll come out next week. Nyans will rank ahead of Harlan. I really enjoyed watching what Harlan has done. Another Dodgers prospect, 19 years old, 3rd-round pick back in 2024, I believe. Didn't really do a whole lot last year, but was quietly productive with a 114 WRC plus, but didn't really catch any eyes this year. He's been incredible in low A. Again, 6'3", big power, simple setup, quick hands, bat flies for the zone. Really, really like Harlan. Think you'll get some Dodgers prospect hype. You got to ride that roller coaster with Dodgers prospects. Sell high at the right time, buy low at the right time. I think now's the time to get in on Chase Harlan.
And the hit tool is very much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Great point. Hit tool is excellent. Contact rate is up.
It's gone
still the
very
right
small.
age. Yeah. Still the right age for that level too, even though he's repeating low A where he finished the year last season. Luke Adams is another guy that I've gotten some pushback on ranking him as high as I have in my prospect list. The tools have just always been better than the season stat line suggests. He was struggling a little bit early again this season. I pushed him down. He still landed in my top 100. He got hurt, shoulder injury. 60 plate appearances since returning from the IL. He's in AAA with the Milwaukee Brewers. 298 average, 7 homers, 4 stolen bases. Corner infield prospect that's going to run and hit for that much power needs to be taken. You need to pay attention to Luke Adams in dynasty leagues. He's a prospect that not many people seem to be in on. I'd be buying him. And Jacob, take us home. Who are some third base prospects that you're keeping your eye on?
And Andrew Fisher, like I know I already talked about him at 20, but like this is a guy who is primed to jump up my rankings in 2 months' time right now. He just got the call up to AA by the Milwaukee Brewers. He had a 169 WRC plus and high A this season so far, 20 home runs in 54 games. That is an absurd rate. Now, also an absurd strikeout rate with 33.3%. So this is going to be another one of those prospects where we wait and see, okay, is this a flaw? Is this a fatal flaw? Or is this just a blip that he has to live with? And like that's really where I'm at. Andrew Fisher is like the guy that I am watching right now. If I had to toss in another one, Ronnie Cruz with the Washington Nationals, he is one of those guys who is at shortstop right now who I am watching to make the move to third base. I think that he is very underrated raw power. Game power still does need to show up, but he's had 44 games this year in high A as a 19-year-old, so he's still getting his feet under him at that level. But we will see what happens after an excellent start there in low A for the Nationals organization.
Yeah.
One thing on
Fisher's
Fisher. Oh, sorry. I was to say one thing on Fisher that you look at their numbers side by side with Bonemer, and there's not a whole lot of difference there as far as what you're seeing with that batting average and the power. The difference is that Fisher was a collegiate bat, and that's where I'm concerned because he faced SEC pitching. He didn't strike out in that rate in college. And that rate is really climbing in the pros. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned with the strikeouts with Fisher. That's where I differentiate between Fisher and Bonemer, because Bonemer is still a raw kid that just played high school ball in 2024. Fisher was in sophomore year in college in 2024. There's where the difference is between the two. I do like them both, but Fisher's swing and miss is really starting to concern me, considering that he shouldn't be striking out this rate at this point.
62.8% contact rate in low A. That's a
problem
for me.
That's a problem.
But a lot of people are. I mean, those home runs are majestic that Andrew Fisher hits. So
I do love the guy, but they have a type, don't they? The Brewers have a type.
Yes,
they do.
Yes.
Brock Wilken,
Eric
Batanzi. It's like hit the ball as far as you can, but only hit it 1 out of 10 times.
we can fix him. I promise. I can fix him.
Fisher can be fixed. It's just one of those things like that. Contact skills should be way better than that.
They should. You would think so.
His pedigree is a prospect and playing in an SEC. So,
yeah. All right. That's going to do it for episode 7 of Destination Dynasty. Thank you everybody for listening, and check us out on, I think this gets posted on YouTube as well. Yeah, this is 7. Jacob, count it out.
6 seconds.
6 7. God, you out there. On that, we're going to leave. Thanks everybody for listening, and goodbye.
See ya.
See ya.